we have discussed about nature of physical world. In that, you studied about what is science. The word science has been derived from the Greek word scientia, meaning to know. Then you studied scientific method. In that 5 methods you studied. Then you studied about physics. The word physics has been derived from the Greek word physis, meaning nature. Then, now you can define what is physics. It deals with nature and natural phenomena. Then, there are two approaches in physics. One is unification, the other one is reductionism. Then you studied branches of physics. There are two branches of physics. One is classical physics, the second one is modern physics. So in classical physics, it covers mechanics, thermodynamics and kinetic theory of gases, optics, electricity and magnetism, acoustics, astrophysics, and then relativity. In modern physics, we have studied quantum physics, atomic physics, molecular physics, nuclear physics, energy physics, and condensed matter physics. Today, we are going to discuss about measurement. It is nothing but action of doing or action of measuring something. Action of measuring something, we can consider it as measurement. Before going into the definition, just I will give an example. Now, let us consider a rope. I want to measure the length of the rope with the help of tape. Now, I am measuring with the help of tape, and the tape shows the value 5. The tape shows the value 5. This is length of the rope. Now, similarly, now I am standing on the weighing machine, and the weighing machine shows the value 50. It shows the value 50. It is weight of meat. It is the weight of meat. Understood? Now, these two are physical quantities. These two are what? Physical quantities. These two are physical quantities. Now, this is one value, this is another value. Can you differentiate these two values? That is, this 5 is maybe length or it may be weight and so on. I get 50. So, to differentiate, that is to compare these two physical quantities, we are introducing a unit. For 5, if I use a unit meter, that is m, and for 50, if I use the unit kilogram, that is symbolized kg, then this 5 meter is for measuring what? Length. And this 50 kilogram is for mass. Now I can able to compare these two values with the help of units. With the help of units. Now you see the definition of measurement. Comparison of any physical quantity. See, these two are physical quantities. I am comparing these two physical quantities with what? With standard units. That is called as measurement. It is clear now. Now we are going to physical quantity. terms we will come across. For example, I am studying for 2 hours. That is time. I am studying for 2 hours. Then, if I take mass of any substance, it will be 3 kilograms. And length of the rope, I can write length, is 2 meters. Then I am having 150 rupee note, 20 rupees note, another one is 10 rupee note. What will be the total amount now? 80 rupees. This rupees even I can call it as currency. Now my question is whether all these things are physical quantity. If I take these 3 things, they are all physical quantities because it obeys the law of physics. Because it obeys the law of physics. But if I take currency, whether it obeys laws of physics? No. For example, if I take Newton's law, whether can I apply Newton's law for currency? It is impossible. So, what is physical quantities? Quantities that can be measured and in terms of which law of physics are described. This is called physical quantity. Now, this physical quantity has been classified into 2 types: fundamental quantities, derived quantities. These fundamental quantities is also called as base quantities. What is fundamental quantities? Quantities that cannot be expressed in terms of any other physical quantity. So quantities that cannot be expressed in terms of any other physical quantity, we will call it as fundamental or base quantities. If I go for derived quantities that can be expressed in terms of fundamental, quantities that can be expressed in terms of fundamental, then I can call it as derived quantities. What are all fundamental quantities? There are 7 fundamental quantities: length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance, and then luminous intensity. Understood? If you take out of these 3 things, out of these 7, these 3 are basic quantities. Basic quantities. What are all basic quantities? Length, mass, and time. These 3 are called basic quantities. These are all 7 fundamental quantities. Out of that, the first 3 things, that is length, mass, time, are called basic quantities. Now, we will write the units for each one. For length, the unit is meter. The symbol is m. Next, for mass, the unit is kilogram. Symbol is kg. Meter is m. For kilogram, a, and this one g. Time, the unit is second. Symbol is S. For electric current, the unit is ampere and the symbol is A. So here I am writing small letter A and here I am indicating in caps form, because when you are writing a scientist name, it must be in small letter. If you are writing that as a caps, that is as a symbol, we can write it in the form of caps. Next, temperature. The unit for temperature is Kelvin. Symbol is K. Then, for amount of substance, the unit is mole. Symbol is MOL. And for luminous intensity, the unit is candela. For luminous intensity, the unit is candela and the symbol is C. Now, we will go for some of the examples for derived quantities. For example, if I take a square, how to find out the area of a square? Side into side. So, area of a square is equal to what? Side into side. How to find the side, or how to measure the side from the physical quantity? By length. What is the unit for length? Meter. And here is meter. So meter into meter, that is m square. Now this m square is a derived one. From where? From the fundamental one, that is meter. This is physical one, physical quantity, length. Similarly, we can go for speed. Distance by time. The speed is distance by time. So distance, how I can measure? By using length. So meter. Time, it is second. So unit for speed is meter per second. The unit for speed is meter per second. This has been derived from this distance and time. These two things are fundamental, and this one is a derived one. I think it is clear for you. Now we will go for units. Already we have discussed for comparison of any two physical quantities. Understood? What we are choosing, it may be, that is, it must be arbitrarily. Arbitrarily in the sense independently. Arbitrarily. And what are the units we are measuring or we are using, that should be accepted internationally. That should be accepted internationally. Then I can call it as what? Unit. So, physical quantity, two types of physical quantity, fundamental quantities, derived quantities. In fundamental quantities, 7 fundamental quantities. Out of 7 fundamental quantities, the first is 3 things, basic quantities. Next, we have discussed about units. Units has been classified into two types. One is fundamental or base unit. The other one is derived units. Now let us consider length, mass, time. For example, these three are what? Fundamental. These three are fundamental quantities. For this, I can write unit, meter, kilogram, and second. These three things are what? Units. Understood now? So, these fundamental quantities, that is, these units in which fundamental quantities are measured are called as fundamental or base units. I think you understood? These units of what? Fundamental quantities are measured is called fundamental unit. Now we are going to discuss about derived units. For example, area of a square I can write as meter square. M is a fundamental unit. m is a fundamental unit, this m is a fundamental unit, but I have this m and this m in the form of multiplication. I have written it in the form of powers, that is multiplicative power of what? Fundamental units. Multiplicative power of fundamental units are called as derived units. It may be of multiplication form or division form. For example, speed, distance by time. So, meter per second. Otherwise, I can rewrite as ms minus 1. So, it is in the form of division and as well as power form. So, it is called as derived units. Next, we are going for system of units. There are three system of units: FPS, CGS, and NKS system of units. F stands for foot, P stands for pound, P stands for pound, S stands for second. Similarly, C stands for centimeter, G stands for gram, and S stands for second. Like that, M stands for meter, K stands for kilogram, and S stands for second. So, in FPS system, length has been given as a unit, foot, mass has been measured in the form of pound, time as second. Similarly, for CGS as well as for MKS. Now, this FPS is a British engineering system. FPS is a British engineering system. CGS is a Gaussian system. CGS is a Gaussian system, and these two, CGS and NKS, we will be calling it as metric system. We will be calling it as metric system. Why we are calling it as metric system? Because we will be explaining or we will be writing in the form of powers of 10. For example, 100 centimeter, I can write it as what? 10 square. 100 centimeter, I can write it as 10 square. Like that, 1000, I can write it as 10 cube. Like this. So, we are calling it as metric system. Clear? Now, we are going to SI unit system. All the scientists accept only one system of units. That is called SI unit system. Next, we will be going for advantages of SI unit system. In 2 more questions, they will ask. That is, one is random system of units. Second one is coherent system of units. And the last one is metric system of units. What is rational system of units? One unit for one system. That is, one unit for one physical quantity. The length will not have 2 units. For example, length will not have 2 units like meter and kilogram. So, what is rational system? For one unit, there will be only one system. That is one physical quantity. That is called as rational system of units. Then we will go for coherent system of units. What is coherent system of units? That is derived one. That is area, if I take meter square. It has been derived from the fundamental. So, we are calling it as coherent. Next, metric system of units. We already discussed what is metric system of units, writing in the form of powers. That is power of 10. So, I will tell you that is 100 centimeter is equal to 10 square and so on. This is called metric system of units. So, we will stop up to this. So, we will recollect. So, today we have discussed about what is measurement. Then we will discuss about physical quantity. Then types of physical quantity. What are they? fundamental and derived quantities. Then we have discussed in fundamental quantities. We discussed 7 fundamental quantities. Out of that, the first 3 things, length, mass and time, are basic quantities or basic fundamental quantities. Then we have discussed about units. Then we have discussed about types of units, fundamental units and derived units. Then we have discussed about system of units. There are 3 system of units: FBS, CGS and NKS system of units. Then we have discussed about SI units and its advantages. So what are the advantages of SI units? One is random system of units, next covariant system of units, the last one is metric system of units. Thank you.